We all know that saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Right.
But isn't it funny how it's the words themselves, not pictures, that make that phrase so memorable?
Yeah.
It's kind of a paradox when you really think about it, and it gets right to the heart of what we're diving into today, this unexpected power that words have in a world that's just, well, becoming more and more visual all the time.
It's true.
We're going deep on this one
Okay.
with an excerpt from Shohin Irsch. It's full of these really interesting insights on marketing and communication.
Yeah.
And lucky for us, we have our expert here to help unpack it all.
Well, what I find fascinating about this excerpt is how it just kind of tackles this head on, It acknowledges this visual world we're living in, but it still argues that words are like the foundation of any strong communication, especially in marketing.
So in this world of like flashy visuals and short attention spans, why does this author think words are still so essential, particularly for us marketers?
Well, because at the most fundamental level, words are how we form concepts, how we explain our ideas, and how we persuade others to take action. Think about it. Even the most captivating picture of a product needs words to give it context.
That's true.
To explain its value, its purpose.
That makes a lot of sense. An image might grab your eye, but the words tell the full story.
Yeah, the excerpt actually goes deeper into that. It explains that while images are great at, conveying emotion, capturing moments in time, words are more effective when you really need to explain something complex, where you need to encourage someone to do something, to take action.
It's like when you're scrolling through a website, and an image might make you pause for a second, but you're way more likely to click add to cart because of something you read, in the product description or something.
Precisely. And that's what the excerpt is getting at. It's this understanding of how words and images work together, and that's crucial, especially for marketing.
So how does this all play into the larger world of, marketing in general?
So it breaks it down in a really interesting way. It describes this kind of chain reaction that starts with, a product, a brand, and then you have to translate that into a concept. Then you have to communicate that concept through different types of media, which always includes words.
Right.
And what's the ultimate goal?
Get people to buy.
Exactly. Getting your audience to take action, which often requires this carefully crafted combination of words.
That makes sense. You need words for everything. The tagline, the website copy, even the script for a video. It all comes back to words in some way.
It really does. And this is where the excerpt, I think, takes a really interesting turn. It emphasizes the power of storytelling in marketing. In fact, it even states that the power of words is the power to tell a story.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's such a powerful idea, and it's something that I think really resonates with me because there's something about a well-told story that's just so captivating.
Right. And it speaks to what makes marketing truly connect with people. It's not just about listing out features or benefits.
Right.
It's about crafting this narrative that resonates with your target audience. It's about making a connection.
I remember seeing this ad campaign a while back. It wasn't visually flashy or anything.
Okay.
But the story they told, about the company's mission and how the product came to be, was so compelling that it's stuck with me ever since.
Wow. And that's what I find so interesting, It's how this excerpt doesn't just confine the power of words to marketing. It even says pictures can be great at evoking strong emotions and all, but they sometimes miss the mark when it comes to those really complex thoughts, concepts, or, logic and reasoning.
So it's saying words are essential for any communication, not just the stuff we see in ads.
Exactly. Think about it. Sending a persuasive email, explaining some complicated concept to a coworker, even just having a meaningful conversation.
Yeah.
It all comes down to using the right words, in a way that actually connects.
I never really thought of it that way, but it's true. When you really think about it, it kind of reminds me of something else the excerpt mentions, something about how even though Chinese characters and English words can be super complex because they have established forms and meanings.
Yeah.
They have this incredible ability to communicate very specific messages.
That's a great point. And the excerpt actually uses the examples of idioms and poetry to illustrate that even further. Even a simple phrase, something like life is but a dream, it just taps into this whole tapestry of emotions, philosophical ideas, things that would take pages to express directly.
It's like a shortcut to shared understanding.
Yeah.
A powerful image might, evoke a feeling, but it's often the words, those carefully chosen words and phrases that really stay with us long after we've looked away.
Absolutely. And it also ties into this idea of accessibility. For most people, words are like the easiest, the most readily available way to communicate an idea, a feeling. You don't need fancy equipment or, a special artistic skill or anything to craft a sentence that truly resonates with someone.
That's so true. And even when you are creating a video or, some big visual campaign, you still need those words for the script, the tagline, to get people to actually do whatever you want them to do.
It always comes back to words. And in a way, it circles back to that idea of being a storyteller, which I think this excerpt touches on beautifully. Whether you're in marketing, a writer, or just, someone who wants to communicate more effectively, improving your ability to tell a story is honestly one of the most valuable things you can do.
There's that saying, everyone has a story.
Yeah.
But it's how you tell it that makes all the difference.
And that's where the magic happens. The excerpt makes this really interesting parallel between marketers and filmmakers. It argues that both are, at their core, storytellers.
Okay.
But it also says that even the most visually stunning films rely on a really strong foundation of words.
It's true. The script is like the blueprint for everything else.
Right. And while visuals can be really powerful at depicting complex processes or scenes, words are how we grapple with abstract ideas, emotions, even philosophies.
Yeah.
They're how we make sense of the world.
So like a quote, "The limits of my language are the limits of my world."
Exactly. So the takeaway here for you listening is that no matter what you do, what your job is, mastering language, understanding the nuances of words, how to really use them well, can make you a better communicator, a more persuasive speaker, a stronger writer.
So how can we, the listeners, apply these ideas, whether we're writing a social media post, giving a presentation, or just having a conversation?
It really comes down to being more mindful.
Okay.
More aware of the weight that our words carry, the impact they have.
That reminds me of another point the excerpt makes, how being able to condense complex messages into these easily shareable phrases has been so crucial for spreading ideas throughout history.
That's so true. It even uses the example of how phrases from literature, from philosophy, have shaped entire cultural movements, even sparked revolutions.
Which makes this whole thing about choosing our words carefully even more important.
Right.
Because, the impact they have can be way bigger than we realize sometimes.
Absolutely. And, the excerpt even touches on this idea of ethical responsibility when it comes to using words effectively.
Oh, interesting.
It argues that we as communicators, marketers, even just, as people, we have a responsibility to use this powerful tool thoughtfully.
It's like we've been given this incredible tool, but we have to make sure we're using it for good.
Exactly. The author really asks us to consider, are we being truthful in how we communicate with others?
Okay.
Are we trying to manipulate or take advantage of someone with our words? These are questions we should all be asking ourselves, regardless of what we do or what our intentions are.
It's like that saying, with great power comes great responsibility. Words may not be tangible, but they have a very real power to influence those around us.
They do. It's a responsibility we can't ignore. The words we choose, whether it's a casual conversation or, a boardroom meeting, they shape how people see things. They influence decisions. Ultimately, they contribute to the world around us. It's something I hope you, the listener, will think about long after this is over.
I know I will. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the power of words. But before we wrap up, our expert wanted to leave you with one final thought-provoking question to ponder.
If words are as impactful as we've been discussing, how can we, in both our work and personal lives, be more mindful of the words we choose?
It's a question worth thinking about, and a perfect place to leave off today's conversation. Until next time, happy communicating.